Well, hello there. Greetings, greetings, greetings. I come bearing some interesting news. Well, interesting, exciting for me. Maybe interesting and exciting for you guys, but I'm moving. That's right. I am moving. So my last day at my current job with the radio station will be December 31st, 2022. And that will make it exactly 24 years, basically, from when I started. I started weekend overnights, January 1st, 2000, and it was the midnight to 6 a.m. shift. So I started off weekend overnights, doing on-air, jockeying CDs and music, and from there did assistant promotions. I was a promotions assistant, there we go. I'm having a hard time figuring out what it was. I was the promotions assistant, and basically my job there was full-time. And I did, I went to all the different events and activities that the promotions director didn't want to go to or was too busy to go to. And so this was down when the station was in San Clemente, right there off of El Camino Real and Avenida Pico, basically. There's an old theater, there's a car dealership, and then there's like a house, and the station was in that house. The offices were in the front, and the studios were in the back where the garage would be. So I was there for a couple of years doing on air, and then I did promotions, and then an opportunity came up to do assistant music director, which meant that I scheduled the music that was on the station. So that was an exciting opportunity for me, and I had experience from high school doing music in high school. So I did worship at church. I went to a Christian high school, so I did worship there as well. And so having this experience with that, I'm working at a Christian radio station, allowed me to bring my musical abilities and talents to the organization and the playlist for the station and all the worship songs that they were playing. So, I did weekend overnights and on air for several years. And actually, one of the more notable times I did it was actually the night of September 11th, 2001. That was a very eerie drive in. I remember opening the door, little man door into the studio, and seeing the aftermath of one of the busiest days that the station's news department had ever had. And papers scattered everywhere. I mean, it was wow. I remember sitting through that shift, and it was just, I'm sitting there looking at the EAS equipment, waiting for a presidential alert to come by and to come through, and well, obviously nothing did. But I was working full-time then for the station, and promotions assistant. At the time I did that, I was 19. So imagine a 19-year-old me having keys to the expedition that we had with the K-Wave sticker on it, taking our promotion stuff down to events and representing the station. It was about 2002. The ownership of the station, the church, had decided they wanted to move it up to Costa Mesa or Santa Ana, where the church was. They have a 6-story building that they owned, and they wanted to move us in there. And so we also, at the time, purchased an automation system. Scott Studios, the old SS32, which eventually became Google Radio Automation, which then eventually became Wide Orbit's automation for radio. And my role, being one of the more techie people at the station, was to load all of our music from CDs onto the hard drive. So that was pretty exciting for me, putting in all the metadata and loading it. While I was on the air, I was also doing this. We had the computer on a little rolling rack in the studio, so I could do it at the same time. So that was exciting, and then they were building the studios where they're at right now in Santa Ana. And I didn't really have much input on that initial build. But when the automation system came in, then that's where I really got involved and started growing from there. At the time, the station didn't have a full-time engineer on staff, someone to handle the day-to-day tech support issues and things like that. And so I kind of migrated into that role and started picking up some of that troubleshooting and tech support stuff from actually from who eventually became my supervisor boss, John. And yeah, started doing that. Since that time, we've remodeled the studios. We've basically I've converted the studios from an analog-only studio where we would have bundles of wires to each studio to an audio over IP network using Axia and Livewire from Telos. And the flexibility that we have now is incredible. It's just absolutely incredible with what we can do. Bringing up sources, routing sources, automating routing sources, monitoring sources. It's incredible what we can do now with the audio over IP. So I am a big believer in audio over IP. We built these studios. They still are cutting edge. They are kind of in envy of many commercial broadcasters. A lot of them are still stuck with old TDM systems, old analog systems. And so to be able to move into the future, which is now a fairly mature technology of audio over IP, it's exciting to see that work that we did with the studios really come into where it is today. Eventually, the church and the station purchased more stations, purchased a network of stations. We grew to about 50 stations across the country, and then kind of shrank back down to about 5 or 6. And then now eventually we're down to the 2 that we have, which you guys have been following along with me for all these exciting adventures here at Santiago Peak, and actually over that way to Palomar, and all the craziness of that. So 5 sites, 2 stations, and it has been quite the adventure. All these different times of going off-road. I mean, you've only been following me for, how long have I been doing this? 2019? And but all the times before that, with the Bakersfield AM station that we had, and all the interesting and crazy stories that I have from that, to the station that we built up in Idaho, and the snowstorm that we basically traveled through to build it the week before Christmas, almost getting stuck there for Christmas. Oh, that was a fun one. To building out the Las Vegas stations, building up the Palomar stations, doing all these different projects, and learning so much, learning as I go, learning from people who are much smarter than I am, and learning by doing. That really is very important for me, is learning by doing. So I'm glad I had this opportunity to learn. I'm glad I was able to bring you guys along for the last couple of years. With that AM station, it was a very well-built facility, and then we came in and just made it even better. We eventually sold it, and it is, I don't know what the state of it is really right now. I've heard stories, I've heard rumors, but, it allows me to focus on the stations that I have now, especially now that we're down to kind of 1.5 engineers. So speaking of that, Chad has transitioned out of engineering. He is now production director. So his role is more on the production side, in the operations aspect of the station. If you were to separate a station using the incident command system into administration, operations, and logistics, engineering would be logistics, on air and production would be operations, and all the other stuff would be admin. And so he's moved from the logistics to the operations side of things. And so we've brought on another person who was at the church in the live production side of things. His name's Eric. And so you kind of saw the back of his head the other day in the satellite video. Brought him over from the church to start learning the systems of the station, and just, he has no radio experience, which hopefully that will change here soon. He is a very quick learner and very motivated learner. But trying to bring him up to speed, before I depart. And I think he will do very good. I think he will learn a lot. I think he will grow and thrive if this is the decision of the career that he chooses. And yeah. But back to the mountaintop sites, all the... I downplay the severity and the danger that is involved. And I'm not here to, tip my cap, toot my horn, whatever it is, pat myself on the back, whatever. That's not what I'm here to do. But really, coming to these sites is legitimately dangerous. And, I made that video about dangerous transmitter sites, and, traveling to sites is dangerous. So, you could fall off the side. You could get a flat tire. You could get hit by a falling rock. You could, there's so many different scenarios that could happen. And I kind of downplay them as just kind of what I do. So, and maybe it is a little bit of complacency. Maybe it is a little bit of accepting the danger and just learning how to live with it. I don't know. But my time at the station isn't just about equipment and solitary mountaintop life, which, don't get me wrong, I would love me a nice little cabin on top of a mountain, somewhere where it's just really, anyways, getting into my retirement plans here. But my time at this station has also been about people. And I've had the opportunity and privilege of working with some amazing people, directly, indirectly, some amazing engineers in the industry. Tom Koza, Matt Anderson, Bert Weiner, Richard Rudman, Paul Sackerson, so many people. I'm just trying to think of all these different names and faces that are going through my head. Bob Gonset, Rob Branch, all these amazing people, really smart people way smarter than me. And so many more in the LA area that I've had the opportunity to work with. Dick Burden, just all these guys have really made an influence and impact on me. And so that's great. Not that I'm going to be losing that per se, but people in radio, people that I've worked with and have really come to respect. Frank Montenegro, Jimmy Stewart, Tamara Kay Poland, Dave Parks, Kyle Cole, Mike Iwerks, Ryan Wormold, Jason Vreeke, Dan Sessom, Noah Ostunio, John Jackson, Larry Wormold, Chad, Brian, Jessica, Esther, Priscilla, Phil, Bob, Jerry, Rory, Deloy, Eric, so many people. And I'm writing this list, and I'm just trying to, there's just so many people. If I forgot you, I'm sorry. But it has been an honor to work with all of you. And pardon me, YouTube audience, let me talk to my colleagues and people that I've had the opportunity with. But it's been an honor to work with you. It has been a privilege to work with you. Through all the laughter, all the tears, all the frustrations, all the random food gatherings, the donuts that come in, the coffee, all those different times. that we've had. I appreciate it. I value you all. I fondly remember many of those times, and I thank you for putting up with me, for encouraging me, for being a good friend most of the time, for kicking me in the pants at times when I needed it too. So I appreciate it. Thank you. And yeah, because radio is not just about equipment. Radio is a people industry. And the people that I just talked about are people who know that that's what it's about. And so thank you. Thank you for all of that time. As I move into this new role, I look forward to the station growing and flourishing and continuing to serve the body of Christ, not just there in Orange County, but in the greater Los Angeles area and all its coverage area, the combined coverage area of the two stations, and to those folks that I've just talked to and that I've worked to. If you ever find yourself in the Denver area, let me know. We'll take you out to coffee. If I find a coffee place in time. I should. There's a lot of good food places in Denver. But until then, until my last day, December 31st, I will be working really hard to get Eric up to speed on everything that's going on. He has my number, so if he runs into big things going, we didn't talk about this, he can call me and I'll help answer questions for him. But I really appreciate talking to my radio folk. I really appreciate the time, all these 24 years I've worked for Calvary Chapel and K-Wave, and it has been an honor, it has been a privilege. I have learned so much, and now moving forward. So moving forward, now to my YouTube audience. Hi guys, sorry. I have taken a position, an engineering manager position with a content distribution company, and it's called Link Up Communications. They are based, they have a network operations center in Denver, in the Denver area. So I will be working there with them, maintaining that facility, similar to what I've been doing already. I've met many of them, I think almost everybody, and they are a great group. I'm really excited to start working with them and starting this next chapter in life there in Denver. And so the other half of my job will also be traveling with their field team to customer sites, just like how you saw our satellite uplinks. I would be going to other customers and helping build their uplinks and maybe repair them as well if necessary, if that's what they're looking to do. And it's going to be an exciting time. And hopefully I will be bringing you guys along for different things. I will still be talking about broadcast stuff, but I will have an all-new background. Southern California kind of has a unique look to it, and I'm looking forward to the unique look that Colorado brings. So, that is a very, very long one-take video for you all, and I appreciate you sticking through it. It's a lot. It's a big change, big life change. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. And so yeah. So I will be taking the next probably few weeks off as I work to pack, as I work to get things transitioned. And we'll start up in the new year with videos coming to you from Denver area. You know, maybe I'll get out on one of the weekends and do some videos up in the mountains there, and find some engineers there and tour some transmitter sites there, and we'll see. But between now and then, I may have time to push out some more videos. I do have a couple of things in the works. Trying to get timing, to work out. I'm going to see if I can get a couple more transmitter site visits. What do you think? I think that's a good idea. I think let's see if I think I've got one that I might be able to do. Yeah. Anyways, I've talked long enough. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part. Thank you for being a part of this first chapter of this channel. And now I hope you join me in the next chapter of this channel, which really isn't going to be too much different than what I'm already doing. It's just different location, different scenery, new things. That's going to be exciting. Yeah. But that does beg the question. My channel name is SoCal Broadcast Engineer. I will no longer be in SoCal. Ideas? Suggestions? Let me know. Put them in the comments down below. I kind of reserved the broadcast engineer, but I feel that's kind of like hoity-toity and a little arrogant because, I don't know, I'm not the broadcast engineer. But it's the only generic kind of thing I could think of. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, I could go Denver broadcast engineer, Colorado broadcast engineer, Mile High broadcast engineer, holy cow, I can't catch my breath broadcast engineer. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of this channel. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, if for some reason I don't have a video before then. And if not, then I will see you in the new year, in a new place, and in the next video. Thanks.